Thank you so much for joining us on The Voice Community Online Radio. You are listening to the only station within our community making a difference indeed. As we connect voices, we share stories, we amplify voices. Thank you so much for making time. Played you two songs by Amanda Black, one Amazulu and the second one Separate. When you get to Separate with the one that you have been with for a very long time, and then they say, you know what, you're going to remember all the good times that we have had. Nonetheless, we are not there, we are here. Thank you for joining us on day number 13, the month of July 2026. James Siadelo, Said Abrams, including also Mr. Shakes, that is Bevan Shelton on the other side. Now, Said, we are going to move our conversation from the conversations that we have had throughout this morning, and we are going to speak about one of the babies that Mr. Shakes would have actually introduced to us also, that is the EduBuild Institute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, small business empowerment is very powerful, and it needs exposure, especially when someone comes up with a brand of his own.
Yes.
And I think this is why the Voice community radio station and podcast is giving small businesses and entrepreneurs like Mr. Shakes the opportunity to expose his business out there. I've seen some of his work, and it's just something that you cannot understand. Why is it that small businesses here in this community, we do have the capacity to put ourselves on a platform, but why is it that we're all stagnant in our doings? And I think the Voice is the voice for the voiceless.
Absolutely, yeah. And as we speak about that, Mr. Shakes, maybe let's go straight there. For someone who's not really familiar with EduBuild Institute, I mean, I've seen it on social media, I've spoken to you about it before. Talk to us, those who are listening to the Voice Online Community Radio now. What is the EduBuild Institute?
Thank you so much, James and Said. I have to first and foremost say thank you so much to you guys, because I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted, the fact that this platform has been afforded to me in order to be able to be a voice for my institution. It's going to be crucial that I give you an introduction as to who we are, where we started, why this organization was started. And I must say from onset that as much as we don't like to talk color, there's always been the question, what good ever came out of the colored community?
Oh, most definitely nothing.
So clearly, I'm sure they are out there, but nobody ever broadcasted.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at what you've been doing as the Said Foundation over a time. You had a very strong social media presence, but people in South Africa don't know about the Said Fund. People overseas don't know, or some of them know because you've been doing work with a lot of people from overseas, from on the other end of your businesses.
Right.
Just like EduBuild, it is crucial that people must know this organization has been around since the year 2000.
Wow.
It was brought about by a beautiful lady from Reiger Park, Mrs. Elizabeth Foster. Yeah, it's those Fosters. Mrs. Foster, being a passionate educationist, teacher, they were running a preschool out in the Reiger Park area. And then she observed that the children are only coming to eat, sleep, and play at this institution. And she wanted more than that to happen. So what she did was, she then encouraged gainful learning. The children had to learn something, to prepare them for primary school.
Right.
And this burden of hers became her passion. And then she started by giving informal training in her lounge at home for the teachers of the area who were involved in preschool teacher training, preschool teaching. Right. So she decided, look, I got to take this thing to another level. Now the good thing is, her daughter, Florizel, we became friends when we were at Rand College of Education. Now look how far and how powerful God's timing has been. I transferred from Bellville College of Education in Cape Town, where I started. In my second year, I came to Rand College because of my political involvement. And also the block was getting very hot
Hot,
for me
yeah.
in the Cape because I was a student activist. I was
Right.
president of SRCs at the time. So I came to Rand College on a transfer, and this is where I became friends with Florizel. And she became a teacher. Then obviously there was no WhatsApp and Facebook and all these things, but we had snail mail back in the day. And obviously we lost contact over
Right.
time. Many years later, we met up at a friend of ours' 50th birthday at the Birchwood Hotel. When we saw each other, the excitement levels were so great that we exchanged numbers. And this is where the story unfolded. Because she was already teaching in one of the high schools in Boksburg, in the Rega Park area. And she saw what her mother was doing. And as a result, she then jumped on board because she knew how to develop and how to write curriculum and those kind of things based on the studies that she's done over time. And then she became a part and she joined the mum. So what they did was they then wrote the curriculum for EduWorld. And that is how it was started. So they had to get it accredited because the important thing is we know preschool teachers don't earn a lot of money.
Sure.
And it's going to be a challenge. Even now it's a challenge for them. This is 25 years later. We know 26th year already. And what happens is she then decided, Mrs. Foster decided that she's going to bring these teachers through this course. And that is how EduWorld started.
Wow.
Because she wanted teachers not only to be able to assist with the learning, playing, and with the sleeping, eating, and playing curriculum. She wanted the teaching curriculum going.
Wow.
And this is how children from EduWorld started, from that preschool, started teaching gainful learning to the learners. And this thing then grew. NQF level 4 was born in that way. Then they decided no, because Mrs. Foster wanted teachers to even earn a little bit more, because when you have qualifications, then obviously you earn more, you know. And so that is how EduWorld was born. And then through her daughter's input, she's now Dr. Florizel Adolf. She was Florizel Foster. So I have to mention it so that people can, who know us, can also form that association to know that, hey, is that Florizel Foster? Oh, I didn't know her surname is Adolf now, you know. But she since graduated last year in December. She was awarded her doctorate, and she's our president of EduWorld Institute. Now, when we came on board as EduWorld, the Shelton campuses, we had to differentiate so people can know that EduWorld works on a model that looks like franchising, but it's not a franchise model. We have association with National. We pay for the use of the brand and the material and everything that goes with it. But the campuses are owned by individuals nationally. So EduWorld has over 125, I think it's 130 campuses now. The growth is so phenomenal and so fast. We have close on 130 campuses nationally. And the Sheltons own about, I've even forgotten them, I think it's 22 or 23 campuses. But having said that, we have a national presence as EduWorld Institute, and our purpose is simply to make sure that people are compliant with government and government's regulation in terms of everybody in preschools must have a minimum qualification of NQF level 4.
Definitely.
So since then we've built it up. We've got NQF level 5 now. NQF level 4 is a 12 months course. We are busy with registrations currently. So the 12 months course, at the end of it, you also get to graduate. So it's a formal procedure.
So this is what EduWorld's offering to your new students now?
All the students, NQF level 4, NQF level 5.
Can you just pause there for a while? NQF level 4. Now, I am not familiar to the NQF
system.
And I'm very, very interested in joining EduBold.
All right.
What if I get my NQF level 4? What gives me the opportunity to enter the education field? Explain to me, what is NQF level 4?
All right, NQF stands for National Qualifications Framework. That is government legislation,
Right.
basically, that everybody must have in this space. You gotta have NQF level 4. Level 4 is basically, in other CETAs, NQF level 4, or rather level 4 is basically the equivalent of matric. However, and I have to say this, NQF level 4 under ETDP CETA, where we find ourselves, NQF level 4 is an entry level, because what happens is you cannot build a house without a foundation.
Okay.
Because many people come to us, hey, but I've got matric, why must I do NQF level 4? So the answer is simple. We teach you the fundamentals of teaching in level 4. It's like laying the foundation. So when you go to level 5, level 4 will come back and haunt you if you didn't do level 5. Because that is the foundation.
Right, right.
So level 5 now becomes an add-on to your qualification. And also, I have to say this, NQF level 4 teaches prepares you to work with children between the ages of 0 up until 4 years old in the preschool system. NQF level 5 allows you now to teach children up to the ages of 6 years old. I'll tell you why. Because there's grade R in preschools as well. As much as grade R is now supposed to be in the primary school system. The challenge is there are children who have their birthdays late in the year.
Oh, yes, yes.
So
yes.
we cater to that. So that is why in our NQF level 4 course, you also have components that deal with level 5. For the simple reason, it's all about preparation for grade 1. So when the child gets to grade 1, the child has been formed and shaped into learning. You understand? So that transition then becomes an easier one. That is why in preschools we don't teach, and I want to emphasize to the parents out there, it sounds like it's a cool thing when your child can read or your child can write, you know, at age 5 or 4, whatever the case may be. You are causing damage when you do that.
Well,
You're causing your child to skip phases and stages. It's like it sounds like a cool thing. My child never crawled. My child just started walking. Later in life is going to catch up. But we'll talk about that as we go along.
I want you to talk about EduBold Institute. Where, how? Okay, well, you explained to us where it started. Sell yourself.
All right.
Sell EduBold. This is your platform to give the listeners out there the opportunity to buy into EduBold.
Right.
Absolutely. And as you add on to that, Mr. Shakes, you have already started. It has been a journey. And I just want to also understand the journey, how that particular journey has been for you from the onset up until now in 2026.
Wow, James and Saeed, I thank you for those questions because it's crucial that I share this with you. My wife and I, we lived in the UK before. So when we came back to South Africa, we had to do everything cash because we didn't have square letter in this country. All right, because you know when you want debt, you need to have accounts and things, and we didn't have all that. So EduBold became a saving grace when we hooked up with Dr. Adolf. So she afforded us the opportunity to become a part of EduBold Institute. The interview was basically a joke to me because it's like we were never really interviewed. Because when we went for the interview, we found a lot of people sitting in this one room, and I knew most of these people were sitting there because of church background again, you know. And as we were talking, and then at one point, Dr. Adolf stopped the conversation. And then she asked, so what do you guys think? Now I'm like, hey, am I supposed to think now? What am I? Meantime, she was posing a question, and the people that were sitting there with us were the board members. So this was basically an interview.
Yes, it was.
And then Dr. Clyde Ramalane, he was the chairperson at the time, he says to a man, We know this guy. We know from church background. We know from business drive that this guy, he's got what it takes to take the Edubel brand forward. And based on that, I got challenged. Where have you heard somebody giving you a business in your hand without you paying for anything? She says to me, there's the documents. Go and start. Find the building, advertise, get students, and then you start. I was like, what? Just like that. So I have to also mention the Reverend Pastor Bishop DK.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's a common name in Westbury area, Ward 82. Bishop Dalton Adams was kind enough to afford us a space at the newly built church. And here was the challenge. The place was just finished built. There was no plastering that happened on the walls or on the floor, and there was no ceiling. It was really a challenge. So we started with 7 students. And it really became a challenge to us because, number one, the section that we used of the church was right adjacent to the actual church building, which means on a Saturday, because classes are only on Saturdays. On a Saturday, we were part of everything that happened at church, whether it be a funeral, a wedding, a conference. The joke is amongst us that our students even started singing with
As
the events were happening at the church. So that was one challenge, the sound. We were part of worship team practice as well. And then there was no ceiling. Pigeons would be walking on the roof and it would sound like as if it was raining. When it rained, you couldn't hear yourself. And God was just gracious to us that He brought 2 Muslim girls to our institution. When they came, I looked at these girls, I said, hey, they're not coming back because of the fact that the building looks like this, The next week, those girls surprised us. They became part of Edubel Institute.
Nice.
And the one day it was winter. It's cold, it's women. I'm dealing with the people who are coming with blankets and a heater and whatever else just to warm themselves. And I said to the guys, look guys, help me find a new building. And at break time, those 2 Muslim girls came to me and said to me, go speak to our dad. We've got a place in Florida that we're not using. James, God was so gracious, that family gave us that place. They didn't even want us to pay electricity. The man would take offense if I would put electricity into that meter. He didn't want anything from us. And pretty soon we outgrew the place, and exponentially the journey became one of blessing. Then we found out that there's a school in Ondekas that is actually employing our level 5 students who graduated as teachers at this institution. And I said to my wife, let's go and speak to these people. We went there, spoke to them, and we made them a deal, because God gives you savvy, business savvy. And I was looking at the situation. I looked at the building. It's a posh building, and like I can't afford to pay rent in this space. So I said to the owners of the institution, guys, we can make a deal. If you're okay with it, here's the deal. We will train all your unqualified students or teachers, and then we can use the building on a Saturday free of charge. All you have to pay is just the student's registration fee. And these people, but so it was like, wow, a win-win situation. Obviously, they scored more because if you had to calculate financially. But we didn't care about that. We had a place on one of the main arteries here in Johannesburg. And from there, our numbers grew. Then we started campuses in East London, in King Williamstown, in Dimbaza, Queenstown in the Eastern Cape, also Jeffreys Bay and Humansdorp in the Eastern Cape. From there, we expanded Johannesburg. We opened a campus in Krugersdorp, or Krugersdorp, if you would, and also out in the West Rand. In Durban, we have 2 campuses today, and then in the Northern Cape, we've got one in Kimberley, and we're also looking at expanding even further. But we just recently took over the campuses in Gqeberha, Port Elizabeth, and Graafrenet, Craddock,
Yeah.
and Mthatha. So we've got a bigger presence in the Eastern Cape
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So it's been a strenuous time, but it's been also worth it because EduBuild, number one,
Yeah.
is the biggest ECD teacher training institution in South Africa.
Yeah.
There is no university even who has our numbers when it comes to early childhood development.
Sure.
So that makes us the foremost institution in South Africa with regards to early childhood development.
Yeah.
So on that, we are growing the brand. As you can see, we've even now taken it a step further by having our own regalia and our own.
Yes.
We're making it
Yeah.
a brand.
Sure.
Because why must I wear University of California,
Yeah, yeah.
Los Angeles?
Definitely.
Many people have never been to LA, but we're in South Africa. Why can't we be proud of our own brand? You know, so that is why we're making EduBuild a clothing brand as well.
Now, I'm loving that because, I mean, we always speak about early childhood development. It is quite important, right? In order for a child to get to that particular level of education, we need to start here. Early childhood is important. If you don't start well, so to say, at a later stage, you're always going to be haunted by not having started well.
Very true.
Yeah.
Because remember, JMO, we have the situation in South Africa, and this is one of the reasons why I left formal teaching. I just walked out literally. I didn't even resign. I just
Sure.
walked out.
Yeah.
Because when I was the English teacher at one of the schools here in Johannesburg, and I found that the children can't read, write, to save their lives, you know. I showed my wife a couple of compositions that I had to mark the one time.
Yeah.
I couldn't make up these things. I said to her, I want you to see this so you can understand my frustration in teaching. So I walked out because the challenge is we don't have those teachers who taught us our ABCs from back in the day, you know. And that is what EduBuild is bringing back. We are teaching grassroots foundation so that the child can be able to spell, the child can be able to read and write, you know. That is the foundation that we are laying. And then it's crucial because right now with the 30%, we are busy cultivating a nation of dumb people.
Yeah.
I said it, yes, I said it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We are cultivating a nation of dumb people on purpose because people who don't have knowledge and insight, people who don't have reasoning ability and cannot read will never challenge the government.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm loving this, Mr. Shakes. And one of the questions I was going to ask you earlier was, who have you been catering for? Who are you catering for? And I listened to you already, not only right here in Gauteng, but you are out in provinces like the Eastern Cape. So definitely the footprint is quite big.
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
We are covered throughout South Africa.
Yeah.
Because for us the important thing is to live the legacy of Mrs. Foster, who wanted to get qualifications into the hands of the people. So that is why, I mean, wherever there's a need, we first go out and then we do a survey to see would it be sustainable. So that is why we've targeted places like Queenstown or Komani, King Williamstown, which is not Conle. I think I pronounce it correctly.
Yes, yeah,
because you can hear the click. It's
Yeah,
the Khoisan thing. But we are looking not only at cities but also at villages. You know, it's important for us to get the qualification out there because then we know we will have qualified teachers in that space, in the schools in those areas.
Yeah. And I wonder how then do people get to access your services? How do they start the conversation with you, Mr. Shakes? It's probably someone listening to the station right now, and they also want to get to that level. I've spoken to a lot of people before who are interested also in becoming early childhood development teachers or practitioners, and that need or the need is out there. There's a huge need out there. Just recently, by the way, as you're answering that question, I was at a meeting also at the Westbury Recreation Center with the MEC for Education, and that particular question came back about early childhood development and centers, institutions like yourself that are really offering services, proper services, teaching people who are going to be teaching kids when it comes to early childhood development. So you need to get someone who's actually passionate about that also, sharing that knowledge for them to go out also as teachers to be able to share proper knowledge. So how do we access your services as people listening to the station, and we also want to start learning from your institution?
All right, thank you so much. The important thing is to get in touch with us first if you have this desire to become an ECD teacher.
And also, who qualifies?
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the magic about EduBuild.
Yeah.
EduBuild was created to give ladies, especially the ladies,
Yeah.
a second lease on life.
Nice.
Because remember, in the old dispensation, those who know can bear me out on this one. If ladies fell pregnant
Yeah.
at school, they had to leave.
Yes.
They couldn't come back.
Yeah.
If they fell pregnant at university or college level, and the same thing happened, they had to leave, and not come back. So the system was very cruel when it came to ladies. The other mitigating factors were the fact that many of our ladies had to leave
Yeah.
school to go and help with the family. They had to go and find jobs to, help and assist the family. And then that is why EduBuild was born. You may have the passion, but now you're sitting at home and saying to yourself, hey, what about me? I love teaching these children, but I can't because now NQF level 4 minimum requirement is set there by government. And it is important that they contact us if you have grade 11, because you must be able to read and write.
Sure.
Matric is not a requirement for NQF level 4.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Nice. Yeah.
So the minimum requirement is you must have grade 11. And then obviously there's also the age exemption that people can get, where you're above 20. You can speak to us, and we will see how best to assist you in getting the qualification.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I'm also thinking about those who have already been running centers in our communities, not qualified obviously to run such centers, but they have done it already. So you are more of actually helping that person also getting certified. So I would actually call it, there's a name for it. It is just skipping my mind now. But as you have already done something, right, and you just need to get certified for having done that. Yes, I may be a radio presenter, maybe, but I don't have a qualification, so I just need to get a certificate to show people that, you know what, I do have the experience for this, but now I do also have the paper to show you that whatever I'm experienced on, I'm also qualified to do.
I hear you,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
fully understand what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's a recognition of prior learning.
Yes,
that
RPL, yes,
the RPL.
absolutely, yeah.
For many other institutions, the RPL system works under other CETAs. Hereby us, you must get the qualification as much as you have the prior experience, because the challenge now is government is closing down institutions where people don't have qualifications. And also on that, James, in recent times we've seen so many videos surfacing on the internet of how children get abused at ECD centers. And the reason for that is simple. They have in these institutions people who don't have the qualification. That's the first and foremost. Number two, that person who's working there is old school. You know the communities where we come from, how we were raised. As a child, if you did wrong, you got disciplined. The slipper was normally one of those means of discipline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you would get a clap, something to that effect. And unfortunately, these people who are dealing with children in ECD spaces where they don't have qualifications are prone to using those kind of methods that we see. Some of them are just playing down evil. They don't belong in the system. They're just there because they need to get a job. So that is why it is important that people get a qualification. There's one particular unit standard that they learn that I love to refer to as the one that keeps you out of jail. And that is unit standard 244469. It deals with the laws of the country. It deals with policies that you must have in your institution. So it is crucial that people come through the organization to come and learn and qualify themselves, because once they have the qualification, they can then open their own preschools, because remember, there's no jobs in South Africa. If they are very few and far between. You got to go and hunt for them. So I always say to my students, especially the new students, I always would say to them, at EduBuild Institute, I do not train laborers. We prepare bosses for the market, because you are going to become the solution to the unemployment problem in this space. So it is important that people become bosses, owners of preschool institutions, so that they can provide jobs in this space. So that's the one. You can become the owner of a preschool. You can work in a preschool, and you can even become an au pair, working overseas with people's children. So EduBuild has people working overseas as au pairs as well.
Yeah.
Because we are an internationally accredited institution. Just last year in December, we were awarded, we received 4 awards from the International Education Accreditation Council, which is international. And these people have a great number of affiliates from all over the world. So EduBuild is now recognized as an international ECD training institution.
Yeah, no, absolutely. ECD definitely in safe hands with the EduBuild Institute. My brother, thank you so much. I think going forward, we are going to have more, because in our communities we have more people who are interested in doing this. And when I say our communities, I'm speaking about all the communities that we serve as the Voice Online Community Radio. Whether you are out in the Northwest Province at the moment, you are out in the Eastern Cape where EduBuild Institute has a bigger footprint, whether you are here in Gauteng, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, wherever you are, Limpopo, KZN, there's definitely the platform that is going to help you in becoming a qualified ECD practitioner, including also an owner of an ECD platform in your community or institute in your community. But you have to start first by getting all of those necessary qualifications and also training, because it is one thing to get a paper and say I'm qualified for this, but it is a different story. That is what I'm understanding from Mr. Shakes, that it's a different thing if you also say, yes, I do have the qualification, but I've also been trained on all of these unit standards. So if we come to you and say, no, but you did not actually follow the rules and regulations as per this particular unit standard that you studied, then we are able to better hold you accountable. There's been so many cases, Mr. Shakes, where some of these teachers at ECDs, as you mentioned, some of them are just plain evil. You get to see videos circulating on social media where an ECD practitioner would have actually assaulted a child. And as you are taught through the EduBuild Institute, obviously these are some of the things that you are taught, that you cannot be practicing or at least assaulting a child in the name of disciplining a child. Yeah,
it's not on, it's criminal, and that is why I refer to that one unit standard that I refer to as the one that keeps our practitioners out of jail. People must know what the legislation requires. You can't make your own rules when it comes to other people's children, because children are such a precious commodity these days. We have to look out for them, we have to protect them. That is why when people come into EduBuild, we also not only train them to be teachers, but on the legal side we demand that they must go for police clearance certification, so that they can be vetted and make sure that they are not criminals, who come to prey on our little children. So even SACE, for teachers to be out in practicing in schools, they must have SACE accreditations, a certificate from SACE. And SACE requires that people must have a police clearance certificate. So that is why we're closing ranks now when it comes to the safety of our children in South Africa.
Absolutely. It is 20 minutes before we get to our 12 o'clock on day number 13 of the month of July. The Voice Online Community Radio is what you are listening to. I'm here as James Seattle with my brother, my colleague, right here at the Voice Online Community Radio. But also, he's here representing the EduBuild Institute, and they are given this platform now to make sure that they share services that they have to offer with you as the listener of the Voice Online Community Radio. Now, but as we conclude, any last words that you also want to share with those who are waiting and are going to start now using your services as EduBuild Institute?
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that one. This one is very important. We do have 2 institutions who broke away from EduBuild, and it's important for us to let the public know that these people, the one in particular that broke away from EduBuild now, they were known as EduBuild Institute, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and Northwest. So they've got the NW, the EC, and the WC after their name. They are no longer with EduBuild. They have been excommunicated for various reasons, and it's important that the public must know
Sure.
that yes, these people changed their logo, but they have not changed their name. We are also in possession of a voice note
Yeah.
where the owner of that institution actually says that they're keeping the name so that they can then draw
Yeah.
people to them. So people must make sure that EduBuild Institute, if it doesn't have the logo that I have here on my chest right
Yeah.
now and on my jacket, if it doesn't have this logo, people must make sure that this is the one they're looking for and not that one, because people are being deceived.
Yeah.
We found instances where students registered with that institution, but they never got any tuition whatsoever. We learned that that institution's facilitators never got paid for a long period of time.
Yeah.
We are now busy doing damage control everywhere in South Africa because we found that these people ran up bills at schools where they were using classrooms as their centers, and they've never paid these bills, you know, and these bills amount to big amounts of money. So I want the public to know that we are in no way associated with that institution. In fact, that EduBuild can't show ETDPC accreditation in their own name.
Yeah.
They can't show EduBuild
So they're still using
ECW,
yours, yeah.
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 The owner of that name is Dr. Adolf.
Yeah.
She is the one that is the president of EduBuild Institute. You know, so it is important that the public must be very wary of not being deceived into believing that that is EduBuild. Please contact the numbers. We do have a Facebook presence. We have, if you want to, you can go to EduBuild. EduBuild is a hyphenated word, so it's Edu-Build Institute, EduBuild Institute. We also have a website which is the same spelling, edu-build.co.za, where people can go to. Then there's also EduBuild Institute Shelton campuses. That is our Facebook presence. There's a number of EduBuild, but the logo will tell you if you are at the right EduBuild.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much, Bevan Shelton. Mr. Shakes, my brother, thank you so much. It has been a great conversation, and we have these necessary conversations to help our people in making the right choices. As you mentioned, we don't want people to be deceived out there, end up paying their money to institutions that are actually bogus in this regard. Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that institution is bogus. They do have a parenting company that they have latched onto, which is called T4 Technologies.
Yeah.
But the unfairness towards the public is the fact that they're still using the EduBuild name. Why don't they promote their name where they are now? You understand? They're using a tried and tested name. But the important thing is that if you're looking for EduBuild Institute, this is the one that you're looking for.
Absolutely. The Voice Community Online Radio, connecting voices, sharing stories that we have been sharing throughout this morning, and we also get to amplify the voices of our communities. So we have also done the same with EduBuild Institute. Bevan Shelton, Mr. Shakes, my brother, thank you so much. I'm going to leave it here, but it has been a great pleasure having this conversation with you. You can also continuously send us your views on the number 073-596-8948. You might maybe be listening to the station right now. You missed out on all of the details that you need to find as far as the EduBuild Institute is concerned. That number 073-596-8948 will also be the number where you can send your questions or your comments, and we'll definitely make sure that we forward everything that you are sending there to Bevan Shelton and the team, and that they'll be able to assist you. Let's leave it here though. More music coming up, more conversations also coming up. Stay with us.
Thanks, that went well. Thank you, Jemo. I think we covered the majors. Yeah, that's important.
Definitely. I'm not sure where.